Did you know that anything to do with real estate, we're talking renting, buying, selling, you name it, is always in the top 10 stressors of the human experience? Your host, Brad Whitesell, has been in the real estate business in North Carolina for over 25 years. He's been doing appraisals, buying, selling, and property management, and much more. He certainly can attest to how stressful this work is, not only for people in the industry, but for you, the consumer. This podcast is on Mental Health News Radio Network, and he'll be offering tips, tricks of the trade, but also mental health professionals and advocates to help make this all-important journey easier and more peaceful to navigate. Sit back, enjoy, and tune in. Welcome to Peak Dwellings. Hi, everyone. This is Kristen Walker. I am the CEO of Mental Health News Radio Network, and I'm about to introduce the host of the new podcast on our network called Peak Dwellings, Mr. Brad Whitesell. Hello, Brad.
Hey, Kristen. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, this is just a welcome into your new show that I'll be on every so often, but I'm so excited that you're wanting to do this.
I'm going to learn from the best. I appreciate you having me, and we're going to make this interesting. It's going to help. It's going to help me probably more than anyone else, just to get some things out there on the table. But we really want to provide some content that will prove helpful in a lot of different areas, mainly real estate and mental health. But we're going to talk a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things to talk about, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty of buying and selling. If you're someone that's a consummate real estate person, I'm saying it all wrong because I'm not in the industry. I'm learning about it, but just that you are just an investor and this is what you do, or you want to rent a home, or you need an appraisal. We're going to get into all of that stuff that people need to know. But when we were looking at ideas to do a podcast in real estate, there wasn't anything that tackled mental health along with this journey. A lot of it mental health for the real estate agent, which everybody needs to be talking about their mental health, but there wasn't a lot towards the consumer. And yet it is such a stressful part of someone's life. It's in the top 10 most stressful things that you can do as a person. So I'm really glad that we're bridging that gap and putting that together into a show.
Well, you deserve the credit for planting the seed, because never in my life would I have imagined that there was so little content out there regarding real estate and mental health for consumers, because everybody talks about real estate, and mental health is just on the tip of everybody's tongue in 2024. It's so relevant in our society. Yeah. And so, a quick Google search for mental health and real estate will tell you that there's all kinds of resources out there for real estate agents. And Lord knows we need all the help we can get from a mental health perspective. But there's very little, if nothing, out there for consumers. So we've got a whole wide open topic that we can explore. And again, we want to help some people. Yeah, this will be a game changer as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. Well, I want your listeners to know a little bit about your background, and also, go back. We're both aged, just kidding. We're both older. So we have a lot of background.
There's a lot of backtracking to do.
But you have a background in broadcasting. So this whole ordeal or adventure or both of doing a podcast is nothing new for you. This is your comfy place.
Back in the last millennium, radio was my first love, and I actually started working on the radio when I was a senior in high school. I went off to college for 2 years as a broadcasting major. That didn't go so well for myself, so I really reset everything. I wasn't disciplined. I wasn't a good student, and after 2 years of essentially goofing off, I reassessed everything and felt I was better served doing a career change. So I actually have a degree in business and economics. So I'm a business and econ major.
Fantastic. I know who to align. I know who to align with. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah. Well, that led to a brief career in the mortgage industry for about 5 or 6 years. And being in the mortgage industry led me to become a residential appraiser. So I'm a certified residential appraiser. I've been appraising homes for 25 years.
Wow.
And I don't know the exact number, but between the Charlotte market and the Asheville market, where I am now in Western North Carolina, I've appraised over 12,000 homes.
Wow.
So the natural progression for appraisers is to get their real estate license. And so I did that in 2015. And here we are 9 years later. I still do appraisal work. I just completed, I'm right at my 9th year as a broker. And I just started a property management company.
Right. The
Peak
the
Property
next
Management. So then
evolution.
that was kind of the inspiration for Peak Dwellings, which you came up with that. I can't take credit.
Well, I just thought it would be really cool to talk about, I mean, you and I both have ADHD, and just even an article and even a show where we talk about what is it actually like to
Oh,
have
we'll talk plenty about that.
ADHD
Yeah.
and buying a home or selling a home, because
If
there
we can
are,
stay on topic,
yeah, exactly. As long as we don't go squirrel in the middle of every show,
Yep, look at the birdie.
So, well, also something that kind of, came to me as I was working with you, because listeners, he was my real estate agent, and a family member's, the selling and buying of a home in this situation was stressful, would have been stressful without all the personal stuff going on. It just is a stressful event. And then we had domestic violence in the situation. We had divorce going on with this family member. And so it was amazing to me to go through that whole experience and still sell the home in 45 days, get it for right near the asking price, and not only and then also buy a new home, a dream home, not a, oh, we got to get it because we got to just move into this house because we're going to be homeless. No, we got the dream house, and they closed on the same day, and we didn't need to be put anywhere for
How in the
help.
world did we do it?
I don't know. With what we were dealing with the police, and not you didn't have to, but we did all this stuff with the domestic violence stuff. And we still made this happen, got a family member into their safe forever home, and did it without, needing to be hospitalized for a while, which is ultimately fantastic. And that's what made me think, it's really important to work with compassionate individuals that really know their stuff. And that's you.
I appreciate that. Well, to pull off the transactions that we did, the power of intention was definitely in play, but you and your family member were, you needed to make it happen. And as a real estate agent, if you've got a client who's kind of half-assing it, so to
Right.
speak,
Right.
you can bang your head against the wall as an agent, and you're not going to get it done. But having a willing client that is willing to do some things that are really out of the ordinary, and I mean, you guys packed and moved and cleaned and did all this crazy stuff and dealing with all the other legal matters, you got it done. And it makes it a lot easier as an agent when you've got a client that's on board.
Yeah. And it makes it easier for you as a consumer to have somebody that's like a calming voice, someone who could expertly get on the phone with truly one of the most difficult people on the planet, and not, I mean, I'd hear you on the phone negotiating with the person that we're in court with over other issues, and you were as cool as a cucumber. You got it done, and they actually trusted you too. And nothing
Kill them with kindness. I mean,
yeah, it was amazing.
nobody wins in a peeing match. And I think everybody wanted the same thing. It's just getting everybody on the same page can sometimes be a challenge.
Yeah, I was glad when I said, well, that was me at my worst. And you didn't go, oh yeah, that was a lot.
Well, it's funny, and you know this. I was going through a move at the same time that
That's
I
right.
was helping you guys, and I had a daughter graduating from college, and I can remember going to Raleigh for her graduation and eating. We're at a pizza restaurant, and the other agent calls me, and I go out in the parking lot for about 30 minutes, and I walk back in, and my wife looked at me and she, okay, that's it for tonight.
Yeah, because it's
I was
stressful
like,
for you.
okay.
Yeah, it was stressful for you. It was stressful for us. It was, when is this person going to sign their document? Oh my gosh. And you saying, these transactions are always stressful. It's really going to be okay.
Yeah. There's
And
always a few speed bumps along the way. There's no such thing as the perfect transaction. Some are easier than others, but there's always little hiccups every step of the way. So, I'm sure I'll have something far more difficult than that
in the
drop
future.
on my lap at some point.
Exactly. So the plan is for this show, we will have, Brad will be talking about all the ins and outs of the real estate business as a whole. And then also, we will have some psychologists, some psychiatrists, some advocates out there, people that have gone through this process while dealing with tremendous grief. I mean, think about all the things that are the impetus towards selling a home. Sometimes it's someone has passed away. Sometimes that means people are fighting over who gets what. It's not, more often than not, it is not the, I'm going to getting the house. I just got married. I'm getting the house and I'm going to get a white picket fence and everything's la la land. That's the rare client in real estate. Okay. The rest of it is all just a mishmash of a mess that we all have to navigate through.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The commercials and the reality are two different things. That's
Right.
all I can
The
say.
HGTV shows are a whole different thing than what it's really like to go through these processes. And that's what we're going to uncover, because if you just need to listen to a show while you're going through it to hear a calm person saying, it's really going to be okay, it really is, then this is the show to get you through that.
Yeah. And it will be okay. I mean, you and I know, Kristen, that, as a mutual friend of ours would say, you're exactly where you're supposed to be at this exact moment, even if it sucks. So, and that holds true. It's true in real estate. It's true in personal relationships or wherever you're at. Everything's happening and playing out for a reason. And there is light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not always an oncoming train.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Brad, I would like to close this very short but necessary introductory show so people knew what this was going to be all about. But I'd like to close it with one of your Bradisms. I guarantee I know which one you're going to pick, but I'll leave that up to you. And listeners, you'll get to hear these as you're listening to shows too.
I think the one that resonates most is when I'm dealing with buyers. Buyers, some people look at one house and boom, they want to make an offer. Some people look at 100 and are not happy. They're searching for specific wants and needs, and they just, it might take 2 or 3 years. I've had clients that I've worked with for 2 or 3 years. So I'd say my number one Bradism when I'm working with buyers is you don't buy a home just because you can. You buy a home because it makes sense and because it's a good fit for you. I mean, I'd love to sell everybody a house on the first one. I mean, you talk about making a good chunk of change for a handful of hours, but it just doesn't work that way. Everybody's got a different thing going on, and everybody has different personalities and wants and needs in their real estate. So I think just the bigger thing is you buy because it makes sense for you. A lot of people get pre-qualified and they're ready to just go out and buy something. And it's like, whoa,
Hold up.
yeah, slow down.
Yeah, it needs to make sense in terms of your
Yeah.
senses, and it needs to make sense in terms of the
Yeah,
dollars that you
I think
actually
that's the
have.
most sincere Bradism that I can think of. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to be doing this with you. Your future listeners will be getting a lot of fantastic information, and thank you for letting me introduce this piece more strategically into the mental health world where it really needs to be.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm going to be learning this along with everyone else, so that's going to make it even more fun. I mean, I know real estate. I'm a fish out of water with mental health, and so we're going to blend all of that together, and it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. Listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Stick around. We have so many great shows coming up, and I'm glad that we got to let you know a little bit more about your host.
Thanks, Kristen.
And stay tuned for the next episode of Peak Dwellings.